This is Datila, and welcome to the TNAIW GoGo Power Rankings show. As always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First, to my right, he's 1/3 of the tag team champions, the third RASCALZ, and he allegedly has no relation to Steve Macklin. Give it up for the star of the show, the one and only Burt Macklin.
You forgot the other thing.
Yeah, say it. Say it. Say it. Say it.
He puts the Burt in Sherburne.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did forget it. I didn't receive the new contract yet.
And yeah, happy to be the third RASCALZ. A little down on some other things, but it's always great to be a RASCALZ. One member, the unofficial.
All right, and to my left, he is the godfather of the Power Rankings, the DNA of LL TRINITY. He puts the Lucha and Luchasaurus, the brother and Lucha brothers. Give it up for Lucha.
Yeah, no Lucha house party in the house. Party.
All right, so we had Victory Road this past Friday. What an incredible show, if you ask me. I think Trinity's going to be number one because she won.
Who?
Nah, she's number two. She's number two because number one should be last week's number two, who beat last week's number one to retain the titles. I'm siding with Burt on this one, bro.
Siding with Burt? Okay, it'd be interesting to see. I'm very curious to see what the rankings look like this week, especially because that show was just freaking, phenomenal. Except for two things.
Victory Road made ranking quite difficult.
And Josh was in the main event, correct? So
yeah.
It'll be very interesting to just see where, and it's, obviously when you're in the main event, it's because you're main eventer. So Josh getting the win, and it wasn't a championship match. You know what I mean? It was just more of a, there's a long time rivalry between these two. So, yeah, it will be interesting to see where Josh lands, even though he's not champion, but he did win in the main event.
I wonder if that means that would be the start of a new streak for Josh Alexander if he does make the Power Rankings.
Yeah, buddy, I look forward to us talking about Victory Road 2024 and Josh being in the middle of a year-long streak. We come in to claim what's his.
See how this is sad because it's now this show Lucha's getting into the RASCALZ, but it's the same time he's wanting Josh to beat the Machine Guns. I'm all for it. I actually want to see more of a heel Machine Guns because I think that's what we're seeing. So no, he better not beat Alex Shelley. I want to see the Machine Guns keep it going and get back to the top 10.
I mean, I'm sure they'll be in this week's top 10 to keep the streak alive, and they've been on one hell of a streak this year. We need to go back and check the stats to see. I'm pretty sure they've been on the Power Rankings at least for this entire calendar year. They haven't quite touched Josh's 51 week run?
I think so, because he lost the title before Rebellion.
Right before Rebellion, and he had won the title at Rebellion.
Mm-hmm. Just shy of a year.
It broke my heart.
Such a sad day.
I shed a tear.
Yeah, I don't.
You all remember?
Yeah, live on the Power Rankings.
Oh, because 52. Okay, yeah, okay. He only made it to 52 weeks. Okay, damn.
1 week shy.
Yeah, so sad. We had a moment in silence and everything.
I started singing "Boys to Men" and shit.
Well, if a company did that and made their champion lose a week before he was champion for a year, that would get a huge pop. The fans would be littering the ring with trash if a babyface lost like that. That's good booking. So He didn't need to make it to 15. Look how dramatic it was.
The sad part was his son was in the ring. Oh.
That'll make it when he wins it again better as a heel.
No,
his son was in the ring when he won the belt both times, and when he lost the belt both times. Damn.
Yeah, that's brutal when you think about it. And with that being said, let's play his power rankings. Number 10, PCO. Number 9, Crazy Steve. Number 8, New Digital Media Champion Tommy Dreamer. Number 7, Tag Team Champions MK Ultra. Number 6, Motor City Machine Guns. Number 5, Jordan Grace. Number 4, X Division Champion Leo Rush. Number 3, Tag Team Champions The RASCALZ. Number 2, The Walking Weapon Josh Alexander. Number 1, World Champion Trinity.
Fuck! What the fuck?
Lucha, are you frozen?
In disgust.
That's how bad his disgust level is.
I thought he was frozen for a second there. That's what I said when I saw these power rankings.
Because I'm cool with who's here. It's just the order.
I'm not.
It's that top 3. It's that top 3 that I'm not fucking with here.
Well, let's get into it. I'm going to start with the points. And so that means number 5 and number 6. Jordan Grace actually beat the Motor City Machine Guns by 2 points. She had 36 points and the Motor City Machine Guns had 34 points.
Tight race to try to squeeze into the top 5. I mean, committee gave love to Jordan Grace, the fact that, this is her return match. She did get the dub, which is always important. That had to weigh more than Shelly being the world champion on a losing team. But it's kind of like, in college sports, like when 2 ranked teams, like 2 top 10 teams play each other and, one's got to lose, but the loser isn't necessarily going to drop that far off the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? So I'm cool with how that worked out. That's how I expected that.
Okay, what about you, Burt?
Because while I love Jordan Grace, I think as long as the Machine Guns have one member of their team carrying, what is that thing that Alex Shelley's carrying on? It's the World Championship. They should always, that's the World Championship he's carrying, okay? Maybe, we got to look at like what I was saying. At the end of the day, they got together and they knew at some point in the match they couldn't win. It's like, hey, we're still the world champion. We could lose this one. Okay, so we're still going to dominate these rankings. But Jordan beating who she beat, a former 3-time Knockouts champion in Deanna, and Jordan being a former champion herself, and this is a big return match, I'm okay with her being ahead of the Machine Guns.
Not to mention, Jordan Grace is now 1-4 to her rivalry with Deanna Purrazzo because she was not able to beat Deanna other times they fought. So finally got a win. All right. So number 10 and number 9, PCO and Crazy Steve. Crazy Steve actually beat PCO by 2 points. Crazy Steve came in with 14 points and PCO 12 points. I think people are starting to really like Crazy Steve's new gimmick of gouging eyes. But if it wasn't for that fork and that distraction, I don't know. What do you think? How do you feel about Crazy Steve coming ahead of PCO, Burt?
Well, and to your point, gimmicks like that I've always gotten over. I remember Pentagon got over, for basically breaking people's arms. You know what I mean? The fans love that stuff. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I think that in terms of PCO, the Crazy Steve being ahead of PCO, I think that there's more to like there's more stuff that seems fresh with Crazy Steve's new character at this point. So I think the fans are more invested as opposed to like PCO and Bully Ray. I don't know how many matches that's been between them, but I think people are just kind of over it.
I can see that. What about you, Lucha?
I mean, okay. Let's make sure that we let it be known that Lucha's not a hater on Crazy Steve and this new Crazy Steve direction. I'm for one with it. I've said it multiple times. It kind of reminds me of 2007 Raven type shit, and that I'm here for that. But with all that being said, number 9 is a little high for my man. Because like, I mean, yeah, all that cool gimmick stuff is a thing. Yeah, he got him a little win over Black Taurus on pay-per-view. But what does a win versus Black Taurus mean in this current climate? Not too much. Because my next question is, cats like ABC or Rich and Sammy, like they to me would have been a little better suited to be in that number 9 spot, just because they got wins and it's within that that tag team climate that's just oh so cloudy, because there's oh so many tag teams trying to jockey for position. So I just feel that one of those tag teams kind of got a short end of the stick.
You know, just to add to your point, no love for the pre-show, because you're right, ABC did beat the most professional wrestling gods, and Alan Angels got a victory too. But maybe people, you know, that match, we lost the feed during that match, so that's probably a reason why he didn't make it. But where's the love for the countdown for the pre-show?
And where's the love for Bullet Club? Where's the love for ABC? You know what I'm saying? The hottest prospect since AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels. And that's word to Jeff, because he said it.
All right, we got to talk about this one. I know, Burt, you're going to be upset. I'm actually upset too. I was not a huge fan of this. Coming in at number 8, the new digital media champion, Tommy Dreamer, defeating Kenny K.I.N.G. King because he later hit him with a wake-up call. So I was not a fan of this. Honestly, did not like Tommy Dreamer beating Kenny K.I.N.G. King. You know, I guess they wanted to give Tommy Dreamer a moment after everything that he's been through, and, you know, his family was there. If this leads to someone being put over, say Bhupinder Gunhar, and maybe he does like a Mickey James type thing last rodeo, you know, I'll be okay with it. But I still was not happy that he beat Kenny K.I.N.G. King. Burt, I'll let you take the floor on this one.
I'll just wait to see what Scott does. He's built up enough good. He's built up enough good nature with me to not. I'm upset, but at the same time, it's wrestling. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, Scott always has a plan. So, I'm sure he's already thinking many steps ahead.
Yeah. What about you, Lucha?
See, that's the thing about wrestling is like we're trained to expect the unexpected, but then when we get the unexpected, we like, well, it's not what I expected. So man, because I just knew when I got off work Friday and I went home to watch Victory Road that I was going to watch Tommy Dreamer's last match. I just knew I did. And then Tommy won, and I was just like, they got me. It got me in the moment. I was like, oh shit, he did it. And I'm like, you know, actually, oh my God. And then it kind of set in. I'm like, oh. But that's besides the point, though. Like, Tommy pulled it off. And as far as him at number 8, it's fine with me, because that's where I had him in mind. Because you can't deny the fact that he got a big, unexpected win over a champ for the strap. And not only that, the champ ain't, you know, it's not like he beat Johnny Swinger for the DMC. No disrespect to the swing man, but it's not like he beat Swinger. He beat Kenny King. You know what I'm saying? So that's we got to give him his props.
We already talked about that. You're right.
No, you're right. We do. Doesn't mean I was happy in the moment. Well, you know, I also kind of thought he was going to lose too, especially with this Thursday being the 1,000th episode of Impact. I kind of thought they were going to, you know, give him a big celebration. But I guess that they
then give him a big celebration and have Heath come through and give him a wake-up call and then Heath just stands over his fallen body, and he just looks over him like fucking Principal Skinner. It's like pathetic, and walks off.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I could see that happening. All right. Number 7, and still our Knockouts Tag Team Champions, MK Ultra. Another successful title defense for them. It's good to see them on the power rankings, but we got to see more of them. We don't see enough of them during the week. It seems like we see them mostly on like pay-per-views and Impact Plus specials.
Honestly, I to a degree disagree. Yeah, because I mean they'll split them and have them in like solo matches and whatnot. It's just that they have the Knockouts tag curse on them, where not every person who holds them gets hurt. It's every person who holds them then loses their ability to win a non-title match. There's just something about it that just like sucks out their talent when it comes like Space Jam style. You know, the belts are infested with aliens that suck out people's ability to win non-title matches.
Well, it's almost because like instead of normally when you build up a contender, you have them go beat the other teams. Well, since there's not that many teams in the Knockouts division, they just have them beat in non-title single matches the champions. That's usually how they get their title match. So it's usually
and
kind
they
of
always lose.
And yeah, that's obviously because they have to win to get the match. So it always just kind of sends the champion. You know what I mean? You really don't.
I mean, I'm just waiting for someone to break the curse and just be like, you know what? I do know how to win a non-title match, and I'm about to show y'all. So, we can get some respect on these titles, and as far as the power rankings go, because like I said, the only time we really see them on here is post pay-per-view after they have a title defense, but they don't just be up here, like how ABC was running for a while, or how the Machine Guns were when they were tag champs. You know what I'm saying? We don't get those type of performances from the Knockouts tag champs because of the curse.
They need an egg cleanse to rid themselves of that curse.
I'm calling it Hamada's curse because it sounds cool, and there's no backstory on why the curse was named after former TNA Knockouts tag champion Hamada, but it is Hamada's curse.
Okay. All right, I'll take that. All right, so now we're in the top 4. We'll kick things off with and still X Division champion Lio Rush defeating Kushida Rush in the opening 2 Victory Road. Honestly, not surprised that he did, because I feel like they're telling the story with Lio Rush and Chris Sabin. But it was a really good match. I enjoyed it personally. I don't know about you guys.
Match was fine. Match was a good match, but I honestly I'm not going to make the argument because, like I said before, the 10 was dropped to us. The RASCALZ should be number 1, at least for me. But you can make a strong argument that number 1 also should be Lio Rush, considering my man defended the title against Kushida at Victory Road, but then at Impact 999, he also beat Kevin Knight. So he had that 2-for-1 special that he took full damn advantage of. In my opinion, he didn't do what Burt says people does and say, you know what, this is a non-title. I don't even really need to fucking care about this. But that's how you find yourself beside yourself defending the belt, because you don't take these non-titles seriously like Leo did. So you could make the argument he should be number 1. I personally wouldn't, because it should be the RASCALZ, because they beat last week.
I would move everyone up, actually. So that means the number 2, when we talk about it, would go to 4. So I'd have Leo at 3, Machine Guns at 2. But yeah, no, Leo completely deserves to be this high. And like I just said, he could be even higher. And I would, in fact, switch it just the way I said.
Well, You guys do bring up good points. He did get the victory over Kevin Knight on the Go Home Show to Victory Road. And to add insult to injury, he, even though it was after the match, he put the hoverboard lock on Kevin Knight. And honestly, if Lio Rush would have defeated Kushida with his own move, I think that would have guaranteed him the number 1 spot. That would have been the ultimate insult, to lose to your own move. This should be interesting. Number 3 is the tag team champions, the Rascals. But number 2 is the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. I like Josh. It's nice to see him back. And, he did main event, but I don't think he should be ahead of the Rascals at all. Just for the simple fact that this was his first singles victory back. The Rascals are the tag team champions. They beat the Motor City Machine Guns, even if it was with assistance from the Good Hands.
And then not only that, they got them, so they be smoking them.
Right? Smoke them if you got them.
And they got all of them. And I would turn my back on this show, like literally turn my back, but the process to do so without like unplugging shit, nor do I want y'all to see my bald spot. So let's just, pretend I did, out of disgust and disrespect for the tag team champions, and then overall in the Power Rankings committee for the disrespect towards tag team wrestling as a whole. I mean, yeah, you got both tag champs on there, but like that's it. You ain't got teams who got wins on the pre-show or $9.99 out here getting love. It was a little recency bias here, and then also I didn't vote for, but I'm surprised she didn't get some love. But no, Lish.
She got grouped with Eddie Edwards, and they only got 9 points.
I'm a little confused why Josh is higher, because not only it wasn't 2 matches, but not only did the Rascals retain their titles, they just beat who I just talked about earlier, the world champion, and like it arguably one of the greatest tag teams in Impact history. So like, how are they not number 1? I shouldn't say that. They should at least be number 2, because I don't have a problem with their number 1. I actually am completely fine with the number 1. But number 2, come on. They should be number 2. Josh, I'm not saying Josh shouldn't be on the rankings, but I would even, in fact, like I said, how I would move everybody up, but I would switch Josh in the Machine Gun's place after that.
I think maybe the reason why the Rascals came in at number 3 is because, John Schuyler was one of the reasons why the Rascals did retain. If it wasn't for John Schuyler, the Motor City Machine Guns probably could have won.
Well, maybe John Schuyler got him, so he'd be smoking them. So for all we know, the Good Hands are Rascals affiliates, because Good Hands roll good joints.
And you got to remember, like, sometimes when you're, you cause that contact high. Maybe John Schuyler got that contact high. He had to come out there and help the Rascals.
Maybe. Guess we'll know. Maybe ABC is right. Maybe there is something with the Rascals and the Good Hands. Number 1, our Knockouts champion, Trinity, who, you know what? She had a match against Lish. She did have a really cool spot in that match, putting Eddie Edwards to a table, but she only had 1 match. Yet Lio Rush did double duty. He beat Kevin Knight and he beat Kushida. There is an argument to be made that Lio Rush could be number 1. But I honestly think what prepared Trinity to number 1 was that she put Eddie Edwards through the table.
And that she's a world champion still.
True.
That's the key point there. She's still the world champion. So, like, yes, she put Eddie through a table, and that adds a lot to it. But that's not what is making her number 1. She's a world champion still.
But I mean, okay, so you said you can make I said it, that you can make an argument for Leo to be number 1. Me and Burt both feel the Rascals should be number 1. And honestly, considering Josh was the main event, he won the main event. That match was a banger. And I'm a mark for, people dominating the power rankings. Josh could even have a nice little case for why he should be number one. So really, the log jam of number one, like in my eyes, they're all tied. 4 through 1 is honestly all tied for being number one. And the simple fact that Trinity is the world champion is probably what would give her the advantage. But it's not like, that spot is safe by any means.
So what you're saying is there's going to be a fatal 4-way now to determine the number one contender now.
That's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 people. So it'll have to be like a 2-on-3 or a fucking free for all.
Yeah.
Fight to
a fatal 5-way.
There we go.
It's definitely. I think these power rankings are really interesting because power rankings coming after a pay-per-view or an Impact Plus special are always the most unique.
It's almost kind of like a foundation setter for what the next couple of weeks of power rankings will somewhat look like, as far as like who's going to be the mainstays and who's just here in and out. I'm curious to know though, because I said something about ABC. How far were they from making the top 10?
Let me check.
Dun, 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 dun.
They were 6 points away from making the top 10.
Is there anybody between them and 10?
Yes, actually, there's 4 if you count them. They're paired up. So Joya technically came in after PCO with 9 points, and they tied with Alicia and Eddie Edwards at 9 points as well. So
that's insane.
And then after that, Sammy and Swan tied Deanna with 2 points each. But Steve Macklin beat them by a point. He has 3 points. They're just shaking his head now. He's disgusted.
He has a right to be.
Yeah. And Adding Ninjas didn't even sniff the power rankings.
Well, it's only 10. These spots are very, very coveted.
No. I mean, nobody voted for him because his name is not even on that list.
Well, again, they only have 10 spots, to vote. So,
Before we move on to the next segment, Burt, Lucha, you got anything? Any final comments to say on the top 10?
No.
Overall, like I said, I'm cool with who's here, with the exception of maybe swapping a crazy Steve out for maybe an ABC for me. But other than that, I'm cool with everybody that's here. It's just that 4 through 1 log jam is crazy. And I mean, I was disgusted and mad at the beginning, but like thinking about it and going through talking about everybody and such, yeah, it was kind of a tough decision on who of those 4 could really be number one, because they all have a strong case.
Yeah, they do. All right. So now let's move on to a segment I like to call the 1-2C.
1-2C.
1-2C. All right. Out of everybody that made this week's power rankings, who do you think will either remain on the power rankings, move up a notch, drop a notch?
I know. Okay, so while we're gonna take some people behind the scenes here. Why we're not doing the match with the highest power ranking implications is because we can't really necessarily find a card that doesn't involve a spoiler. But I'm 99.9% sure that Trey and
Alex Shelley?
And yeah, thank you. I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be fighting for the belt, at least as I last knew of that to be. So I'm going to actually say the Motor City Machine Guns is my 1-2C, but simply because they have an opportunity to reclaim what's theirs and stop all this silly competition over who should really be number one when we all know who the real number one is, because it's Motor City. So yeah, that's my 1-2C.
I would agree with that one. And then I will throw in there, I think we will, just because she got a big win, I think Jordan will be pretty high as well, just because I would expect to hear from her on, the show, since I don't think she's been on weekly TV yet since she's returned.
Jordan got him. She be smoking him. She gonna be high.
I think Jordan is going to end up challenging Trinity at Bound for Glory for that Knockouts World title.
I could see that.
If it's Alex Shelley versus Trey Miguel for that world title, that's going to be the 1-2C. The 1-2C.
That's just because it would most likely be the main event. So, in that as well, you know what I mean? That always pretty much gets you that number one spot, especially on weekly TV.
Yeah. Well, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching and for the continuous support. You guys make sure you tune in on Thursday. It's Impact's 1,000 episode. And someday we'll be at 1,000 episodes too. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever this video drops or whenever TNAIW releases content such as Lucha. Care to explain?
Content such as we have recently wrapped up the 2023 Super X Cup. Make sure you guys go check that out. Check out the finals and semifinals. Check out the whole tournament. Check out the bracketology. We got the 2023 Athena Cup to crown our women's knockouts champion. We got the Ryder Cup that crowned our world champion. We have the currently untitled tag team title tournament that we're working on that's coming next. And also through rigorous negotiations within our contract, we have been able to finally kick off at a later date LOL 3NA. Yes, season 3 is on its way back. Me, Jeff, and Johnny. We got our high fives that we're going to be bringing in, and make sure you guys check that out. LOL 3NA.
I like that.
Me too. Smoke them if you got them.
And we going to have them. Also, make sure you guys check out me and Jeff. We talked about Victory Road here, but as far as like wins and losses, but you want to get our full uncut review and thoughts about the show, make sure you go and check me and Jeff's Victory Road review out also on the channel. And also on top of that, you want to go check out some old shit, go check out some old shit. Go check out Talking Bloody Nonsense and put in the comments, Craig, I love you, and tell them Lucha sent it. Go watch, other old unboxings where we talk nonsense about Impact Wrestling. So you want some nonsense? That's why we're here. So go check it all out.
I'll see you guys next week. Bye.